If you have DACA or deferred action, as it's called, can you travel outside the country and come back in? What is advanced parole? What is this thing I'm hearing about parole in place for spouses of people in the military? Can I apply for that? Well, welcome to Immigration Wednesdays. We're going to talk about that today. Hi, I'm attorney Jeff Peek, and a lot of questions we get for people who have DACA have to do with the ability of people with DACA. Again, DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, to travel outside the United States. And it's very, very important to understand, DACA does not give you this permission. If you just have the DACA work permit, that just allows you to stay in the United States, work here, get a social security number here, and do the other things that the work permit allows you. But it does not allow you to go to Mexico or Canada or anywhere else in the world and come back in. So it's very important because you can lose your DACA status if you do that. Another thing that's very important to understand is the Trump administration in the last 3 months or 4 months of their time announced they're going to reopen the advanced parole program. What is advanced parole? It is a permit that you apply for. Think of it as a pre-approved travel document to be able to go outside the United States and re-enter. And they did this for people at DACA. Now, this used to be open all during the Obama administration. So many of my clients came to us during those years and we were able to get them travel permits or, again, advanced parole permits. But then Trump entered office, he suspended that program for a while, nobody could apply for it. Well, it's back open. The Biden administration has also announced they're going to continue to process these applications. Who is a good candidate to apply for this? Well, anybody can apply if you have deferred action. However, they're really looking for cases that are special, urgent, emergencies, important reasons. It could be important events, maybe somebody's wedding, it could be for a funeral, it could be to visit a sick relative, it could be to go give blood or otherwise help somebody wind up their affairs. It could be legal matters outside the country. It could be business. It could be training. We've gotten approved advanced paroles for all sorts of kind of things. It's probably not just going to be for tourism or leisure, though. If you say, hey, I'd really just like to go check out Cancun or Cabo San Lucas, I'm not sure the government's going to say that's that important to give you that permit. But of course, you can always try. So if you need help with that, I would encourage you to call us. We'd be happy to talk to you or help you with that. Why is it important? That's another question. Well, of course, it's important for somebody who needs to travel. Maybe they have a sick relative or they want to see somebody. But also could be very important for somebody who, if they were to come back in with this approval, with this inspection, coming through the border, having their passport stamped, being inspected legally, if that person had never come in legally the last time they came in, this new legal entry will now open the door, if they ever marry a U.S. citizen, to be able to get residency here in the United States. Or alternatively, if they have a U.S. citizen child who turns 21, to get residency here in the United States. Now, if your last entry in the United States was already with a visa inspected legally, not a big deal. You don't really need advanced parole. But if you were somebody who came in illegally, that could be the difference between being able to get residency here in the United States or having to apply through another process that's much longer, much more expensive. You got to get a waiver or pardon to be able to come back in, and that could be very complicated and not everybody wins it. So that's the real benefit for a lot of people. Now, you may have heard of another type of parole called parole in place. What's the difference between advanced parole and parole in place? Well, both of the words parole, we use them differently. It's not like the criminal parole where they're letting you out early from a prison sentence. This kind of parole is they're letting you in. They're letting you in the country. Well, parole in place these is for usually spouses of people in the military. And when we say military, we're talking about active service, armed forces, Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, Army Reserves, or the military reserves, all the branches. We're talking about Coast Guard. We're talking about National Guard. Okay? And this could be for spouses, for children who are in the military, spouses in the military, or even parents who are in the military, or anybody who has been discharged honorably, left the military, retired from the military. All those people could be eligible. And this type of parole, if you can apply for it, has to show, one, the relation you have with this person, and two, that they're either active or honorably discharged. Once you show that, they give you this parole in place. And what that does is it basically treats you as if you had left and come back in, inspected lawfully and legally. You don't actually have to leave though, so that's the difference. That's why it's saying in place. They're treating you as paroled, as if you've been inspected and admitted. And again, that can be a huge benefit if you have a spouse who's a U.S. citizen or a child, 21 years old, who's a U.S. citizen who wants to file for you. So I hope that helps. We here at Peek & Tolan process many types of applications for parole, both advanced parole and parole in place, help many families reunite, get residency through this process. We'd love to help you. If you have questions, please call us. And that's all we have today for Immigration Wednesdays. We're going to be talking about more in the coming weeks about other types of processes going on. We're very excited about all the changes, and we hope many of them will help you. We'll see you next Wednesday.